Welcome to the Kiwimana Bay. Hi, this is episode 66 of our Beekeeping podcast. This week we are talking about dry weather causing chaos and the flow hive.
The flow hive, what's that about?
Oh, you're going to find out.
And if you're a beekeeper in the world and you haven't heard of the flow hive, I don't know where you've been.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's Margaret and Gary here. That's Gary.
Yep, I'm Gary, and we are beekeepers from the hills of the Waitaki Ranges. So welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz, and we broadcast from West Auckland in New Zealand. And our podcast is about
beekeeping, gardening, and a bit of politics, about environmental issues. And we've also been known to go off on tangents about other issues every now and again. And welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz.
Yeah, welcome. And this is episode 66 of the Kiwimana Buzz. And thank you for coming along this week and listening. We really appreciate you guys listening, and we appreciate all your support.
Absolutely, and thanks for taking the time to be here with us, and we appreciate it very much.
Yep, absolutely.
So, Gary, what's been happening at Kiwimana?
Well, we have 1,000 subscribers in our newsletter.
Woohoo! Yay! Well done.
Yeah, 1,000.
Thank you, everyone, and we're very grateful that you've subscribed to listen to us, and we hope that, and going forward you find things of value that we can present to you and that you will enjoy and they're helpful to you. So, cheers.
Absolutely. Yeah,
yay!
Thank you.
Well done, Gary.
Well, it's not me. It's everyone out there that enjoys our newsletter.
Yeah, but you do the newsletter.
I do, and you do it too sometimes.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you want to
awesome.
join our newsletter, it's kiwimana.co.nz/sign up. And what else has been happening? Well, there's been a few incidents around here, and we'll talk about those as we move along. And what have you been doing? Treatment starting?
Yes, this week we are starting to work on all our treatments. We're going to be using EP066, which is a thyme-based treatment, which has thyme or oil, has eucalyptus and camphor in it, and it's great weather for it, and I'm sure the hives are going to respond accordingly. Yeah, I find it a very good efficacy and does well before we close down for winter. So that's what we'll be working on. So we'll be very busy doing that. And we've also had some help around the property, doing some apiary management and some work on our driveway. So it's been absolutely awesome to get that sort of help, and we're really grateful for it. And the driveway's looking cool, and so's our garden. So
thanks everyone that's helped us out. It's been great. And yeah, we're going to start treating soon. We've had a couple of hives that have got quite high mite counts.
Yeah, there has been evidence of deformed wing virus in some of the service, consultations that I've done in my beekeeper services. So I'm really encouraging people to treat them and monitor. And then because I think because the late honey flow, there's a lot more foraging going on at this time. So I think the mites are really having a great time. And my advice is to monitor very closely, and if the beauty of having an organic treatment means that if you still have fairly high mite counts, you can continue it without it being harmful to the bees and the honey. So if you need to, it's okay to continue it on for a couple more weeks.
Absolutely, not that we're condoning fear-based beekeeping.
No, that's an interesting article. I quite found that quite interesting.
Yes, here's an article there by Jason from Let MB. So have a check that out. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yes, that's interesting. And what else has been going on at Kiwimana HQ? Well, we've been working on the quarantine apiary as well. So we've been doing that, and we attended that over the weekend, eh?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to have you working alongside me, Margaret. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was nice to see the hive that you had to euthanize the queen from, who was obviously not doing well, has now raised a very healthy queen cell. So that's been awesome, and they're looking really good, and they will need a treatment, but because they have had a break in the brood cycle, I think that they're going to be all right, but we'll wait until we can see how she mates, because it is later on in the season, and that's been one of the questions that we've had, haven't we, about if you can raise a queen at this time of the year. So
absolutely.
It's something to consider, because it has been quite a long summer here and very, very hot, up to 35 degrees, and for us that's pretty boiling. And then it's been so hot that our thermometer melted.
That's right. It has been hot.
Anyway, we're just guiding now. But anyway, it's been cool. And there are risks involved with trying to raise queens from a split or eggs at this time of the year, because the drone population is beginning to reduce. But every area is different, so just be careful. And if all else fails and the hive don't raise the queen in time and she's not laying before winter, you could always merge it with the original hive or a stronger hive. So bear that in mind, guys.
Absolutely, because what we might do is have to put a whole lot of frames of honey with that beehive too, from a disease-free hive. So
yeah, absolutely. And they look like the population is going to start building up, and I think we've probably got another 4 weeks of really good weather. So officially it's autumn now here in New Zealand.
Absolutely. To move on to blog recap. Oh man, I'm relaxed now.
Oh, that was just cool. I don't feel blue at all. Hey, this is awesome.
Pass me that pina colada.
This is awesome, Gary. The number one of our 3 blog posts last month was your article about how to get rid of laying workers in your beehive.
Yeah, that was great, eh?
Well done. Another big plus.
Thanks for you guys for reading it. Awesome.
We've had a lot of questions about this over this last few weeks, because of some of the queens just not doing right, or they're laying multiple eggs and that kind of thing. So there are different scenarios, but this one specifically deals with laying workers. So that's when a worker bee starts laying because the hive no longer has a functioning queen, or she's absconded or died, or something has happened to her, whether it's by beekeeper intervention or just, the seasonal time or whatever. So this is a great article and well worth a read.
Thank you. Thanks, Margaret.
You're most welcome. And there's some great photos in there.
High praise.
There's some great photos in there.
Oh, I think those photos are yours, aren't they?
Yes, that's right. So it's all good. Yay! Everything is awesome.
Okay. Let's move along. And how to get started with urban beekeeping in Australia. This was an interview with Doug Purdy. That's been very popular. So thanks everyone that's downloaded that and listened to it.
Yeah, it's great to talk to someone from Australia and get some input about what's going on over there. So, yeah, this is great stuff. Have a listen, guys, and always neat to get experiences from beekeepers in other parts of the world. So,
absolutely.
Thanks, Doug. That's awesome.
And this week we're going to be meeting Bob from Bob's Beekeeping in Melbourne. So that'd be interesting, eh? Interesting to meet another beekeeper.
Yeah, he's coming over to New Zealand, and we'll catch up with him.
He wants to see varroa mites.
Yeah, lucky we've got plenty to show him.
We can plenty to show him. Just make sure he doesn't take any home with him.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing to leave the apiary.
No, exactly. And
nothing to bring in either.
No, we must email him to tell him not to bring any honey or any suits with him, because they will not get past customs. Yeah,
biosecurity will be all over them.
Exactly. And a third most popular post was when I'm 64. That was
Yay! We did it! Yay!
Was it turn Margaret down there?
Oh no.
Too excitable?
Yeah, that's what happens when you get to 64.
It's everything. Every day above ground's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Now, that was our podcast that me and Margaret did, and it's been very popular. So thanks everyone for listening to that.
Yeah, it's great, and we enjoy doing this, and we've been getting lots of feedback. You know, people call us and have a chat on the phone about what they're up to, and it's always good to hear them refer to some of the things we've discussed. So, awesome.
That's right. Yes, and someone made reference to that drinking game, didn't they? It was funny.
Yeah, that was classic, because are we still doing that? Yeah, nah, yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. No.
Anyway,
yeah. Okay, let's
we
get on with it.
shouldn't encourage drinking. Next one, we're moving into the news, so we'll get to the news, eh? Here it comes. Kiwimana, beekeeping news. News you can use.
At Kiwimana HQ on this wonderful, balmy autumn evening here in New Zealand, in West Auckland.
Absolutely, and the first story is from London. Scotland Yard's Elite Firearms Unit launches Beekeeping Club to help elite armed officers relax.
Well done.
Well, this is great.
Well done. I think it's fantastic. I just like to see how they respond to some of the things that may happen while they're doing it. But it sounds like it's a really brilliant idea. And anything to promote the keeping of bees, I'm well in support of, and well done.
Yeah, absolutely. So if a hard day of working in the Armed Defender Squad, you go home and do your bees. Leave the guns at work.
That's right.
Because sometimes it gets stressful in the apiary. We'd like to convey a story of an incident that happened on Friday night.
Yeah, how not to move a beehive.
Yes, we started to move a beehive, and unfortunately it fell down, the trolley actually fell down one of the many potholes in our lawn, and the hive toppled over and emptied.
Oh my gosh, those bees were just so angry. Before that, actually, the hive had been dropped. They were already very antsy, and they started to escape because the mesh I put on became loose in one corner. I didn't see it, and they were really hammering me, and I could hear them hitting my suit. Then I realised that I hadn't done my suit up properly, and the bees were inside my veil. So this is a beekeeping adventure I'd rather not have ever again. So
yes,
just a reminder, guys, when you're working your hive, always do up your veil properly.
Yeah, luckily the new beekeeper, Glenn, hasn't been put off. I was quite surprised.
Yeah,
he rang up the next day and he's still keen.
Still keen, so that's awesome. And I guess it has taught us some valuable lessons about bees do get very upset at night, and even more so when you drop their hive.
Yes, absolutely. And I must have got about 9 to 10 stings, and 3 on my face because they came into the veil and they were flying around hitting me. Oh, that was...
I got one on my neck, I got one on my cheek, and I got one by my eye and one on my head.
Oh,
so
I shut my eyes because I didn't want to sting my eyes.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful.
The smell of venom was in the air, guys. So if we're lucky we didn't bring our firearms, or we would have had an incident. No. No, they're all good now, and they're all back to normal, and they're relaxed. And we're recovered from the injuries, and we've discovered that we must zip up our suits better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just left the hive there for the next, 5 days to settle down, and then we'll prepare it a lot better. So,
Yes, absolutely.
See, even to us who think we've been doing this for a while now, we often laugh about these things that happen, but yeah, it can happen to us too.
Indeed. Anyway, let's move on.
Moving along.
Honey on tap. Save the bees and effortlessly harvest endless fresh honey. So this is an invention from Australia they were looking for some funding on, I think it was Kickstarter or some of those sites.
No, Kickstarter, that's
and I think they got $1.8 million within the first 2 days.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's fantastic for those guys.
It does. I remember when I was a kid, and I used to watch those cartoons, and I remember one where they had this beehive, and they got a tap, and they tapped it into the side of the beehive, and the honey flowed out. And this whole flow hive, as they call it, reminded me of that cartoon, and I thought it was quite funny. But yeah, it was quite interesting to see how it works. And there's been few comments, and we've got some responses to it. So I was asked today by a caller. His name's Bruce, and he asked me what I thought about the flow hive, and I think that they probably would need to, if they wanted to bring it to other countries, they might need to the governments to assess them, because in New Zealand there are rules about ways to extract honey, also about the inspection side of things, how would it affect that. And there are issues in our hives in New Zealand that, which is the varroa mite, which in Australia they don't have the varroa mite. So, there's things that need to be considered before it goes all over. But it looks very fascinating, and they did a good marketing campaign on the video. So,
yeah, absolutely. I wish they could do our marketing for us. It would be fantastic.
Well, I think you do pretty well.
Thanks, Dale. Yeah, no, it looks an interesting product, and we'll see how time will tell. But my thoughts initially were it'll never work with Manuka honey because it's just too thick, I don't believe.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And maybe the heather honey might be the same, do you think?
I think the heather honey would be exactly the same in England and Scotland and Ireland.
Yeah, so that is interesting. It's fascinating. And there are blueprints. Is it blueprints available for you to have a look at?
Yeah, you can look at the patent. And it's interesting. I think, we'll see how it goes. The other thing I think would probably be an issue is if you open all the cells at the same time, you're probably going to cause a massive smell of honey, and I think that probably cause robbing. But I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue or not.
Yeah, and I think that once you get to the point of winter, how's that going to work in terms of, as you say, the honey's going to be a bit harder. So that'll be another one to watch out for. But there is lots of talk about it, and it's gone around the world, I think, viral almost. And there's some responses to that, and we've got an interesting video about how they see this one.
Yeah, that's Bill Catherall. He's from BVlog, which is a great, fantastic YouTube channel. So check out that video on the in our show notes. And our show notes will be kiwimana.co.nz/66
Well
week.
done, yes, well done. We made it to 66, guys.
No, it's amazing.
Okay, the next story is about dry weather stings beekeepers. Wow, this is a flaming good story.
It's hot. It's a hot story.
It's a hot story. It's flaming.
There's been droughts in the South Canterbury region.
It's a sparking issue. It sparks an issue about the risks involved with beekeeping.
Absolutely, and it does. We have a problem with a lot of exhausts and sparks, and
we'll read this.
We're jumping ahead. So.
Oh, are we?
The big dry has
I'm getting confused. It must be because I'm 66.
No, that's not your age. That's a show. The big dry has cost
It's all melding into one.
Okay, the big dry has cost some South Canterbury beekeepers more than half their average annual crop. So this is the big drought in the South Island. It's been pretty much of a drought here too, isn't it? But I think it's
fair to say that we have had real dry conditions, and the ground is cracking quite badly here. So I'd hate to know, what's going on down there, but it sounds a bit depressing for them.
And we're on garden tank water, which tastes like pond water. So we had to boil all our water the day to drink it.
We have some spare water tanks which collect the rainwater, but the spare tanks, seem to be getting a lot more debris in them, so they are a bit more earthy than our other water tanks. So I can't wait for some more fresh rain. So, but yeah, our hearts go out to the South Canterbury beekeepers, and hopefully if the honey flow lasts a little bit longer, they might get a bit more. But read that article. It makes you understand that beekeeping is very subject to nature, because it is a natural thing that we're doing.
Absolutely.
So, just be aware and have that in mind when you're planning your next season.
Yep, absolutely. And the next one is a story from New Zealand as well. The rural property on Totra Park Drive near Masterton.
Oh man, this is the one that's going to spark a lot of conversation.
Yep. Well, 300 square metres of grass surrounding the beehives was actually set on fire, and I understand it was blamed on the smoker. It doesn't actually say that in the article, but I've heard from someone else.
Oh, that's interesting, because that's one of the things I teach my students, is that there are a lot of risks involved with beekeeping, and the smoker is actually a very strong part of that. Getting injured by smokers that are hot, you might burn yourself, it might tip over and start a fire. So yeah, the article states that it's from a hot exhaust pipe touching the long dry grass.
That could happen too.
Yeah, very possible, especially if they've been out busy working and it's already hot. So and
I find sometimes when you smoke, if you're getting down to the bottom of the fuel, and if you have pine needles at the top, then sometimes you're pushing the smoker and actually sparks fly out of it. Yeah,
that's true. It can happen. So
you got to be very careful.
Just be aware, like that. Be aware.
Be aware.
And have a look at that article. It's just a bit of information there that just keep you on your toes. What's the next one, Gary?
Oh, this one's for the scientists in the audience, and it's notice of hearing of the OBC substances reassessment, the EPA in New Zealand.
OPC.
The EPA is reopening some organic phosphates and carbamate insecticides. They're looking at these chemicals that are for what are they saying about their effect to bees?
Yeah, it's an interesting article, and I think it's great to hear that the government are listening and that they are reassessing some of these chemicals. And yeah, you go for it, guys, and we hope that you will err on the side of caution, and perhaps this reassessment may just prove that they are harmful. So we'll just have to wait to see what their findings are. It's actually going on at the moment, isn't it?
Well, the meeting was on the 13th of February, and they've gone away to consider their opinions. There was submissions from DuPont and the National Bee Association in New Zealand, and a few other people.
Oh, that's excellent. It's good to hear them. Some of them we don't quite agree with their comments, but you read it and make your own decision, people. So there you go.
Yeah, have a look at that. There's if you look on the article, and then there's at the bottom of the article there's another one to the full submission, so you can actually read the other people's submissions as well.
Yeah, it's good to see there's a huge amount of submissions. Whether they support or not, you'll have to read them to find out.
And this next one will get our blood a-boiling. Threat. What does it say? Threat to bees blown out of proportion.
Oh my goodness gracious me. This really, really did get my blood boiling.
But you've calmed down now, eh?
No.
Oh.
No.
We might have to mute you. You too.
Yeah, cheers, Gary. Thanks for all your support.
But this one is the Parliament local government is actually organising a committee to take on the effect of neonicotinoids again. This is I think this is a petition that Sue Kedzie raised. Yeah,
absolutely. She is she's wonderful, and she's done this sparked this report with a petition for better bee health protection in 2008.
And they're finally doing it.
And so they're actually doing some work on it, and it's actually called the Local Government and Environmental Select Committee. So, and they're presenting to the Parliament.
And Green Party Stephen Browning, who we've actually met, haven't we?
Yes, we've met him. He's a wonderful man.
He said he welcomes the recommendations, especially the reviews into pesticides. So.
Oh, yeah. That is, the thing that upset me about this particular article is at the bottom where the guy from AgCalm talks about the pesticide risks and that kind of thing. So I went to their website and I read some of the stuff that they state in there, and boy, that you guys go and have a look at it, AgCalm, and have a look at what they get up to. It's very interesting, and you'll find it quite alarming, the thinking behind what they're doing.
These guys are a body that actually promote pesticide use in New Zealand for farmers and other people like that. So
no, I guess they are promoting it.
They
Can
are.
you put it like that?
Well, that's what they do. And they've in the past they've come out in support of neonicotinoids, and now they're saying that the issues in New Zealand are blown out of proportion, and the number of managed hives is climbing back.
I think that they've blown out proportion of the percentages that they've used, because they said that in the past decade that hives are increasing. Well, there's no, if you think about it logically, there's no other way to look at it, because when 10 years ago was when all the Varroa stuff hit New Zealand, so the surviving bees will start to build up. And I think the other side of it is that these figures may be questionable in my view, because I think a lot more people are registering their apiaries because of education and beekeepers becoming more aware of what they should be doing. So, yeah, I don't know. I have a few questions about it. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, there definitely is an increase in hobbyist beekeepers, so people with 1 or 2 hives. And that's probably bumped up the numbers quite dramatically, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, when we first started, there wasn't 3,500 beekeepers, and that number is growing. So I don't believe there's a common misconception about the hive numbers. I think there's a misperception about how you gain those figures. So
I think there's more than 3,000. Is that hobbyist?
No, the last thing that I recall was saying there's 3,500 beekeepers. What they class as hobbyist beekeepers, which are beekeepers who have less than 4 hives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's saying there that it's grown by 90% in the last 10 years. That seems a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where those figures have come from. So Gary's now just Googling.
I'm just having a look at the thing. Anyway, that's cool. So yeah, that's an interesting article, and I think that, to be honest with you, probably the trouble we have in New Zealand is not as bad as America. But do we have to wait till it gets to that point? Do we have to wait till we've got CCD? Do we have to wait till we've got colonies collapsing all around us?
Yeah,
before we do something? Yeah. I say no.
There are the governments that are taking on the no-use scenario, that they won't use a chemical or approve it for use if it hasn't been proven to be safe to humans or insects, because, that's who it's going to affect. And this agcalm.co.nz talks about controlling pests on food crops, talks about fungicides, and that the final one which really got me was where it says is that the treatments are specific and only effective against the diseases, insects and weeds at which they are aimed. And I'm sorry, I can't believe that, not for a moment. And short-lived? I don't think so. Anyway, that's my view. You heard it here at kiwimana.co.nz.
Yep.
/66.
No worries. Next one. Quite interesting. So this one, Altopia announces new technology that may remove Varroa destructor mites. And this looks like an interesting idea. It actually apparently makes the male mites infertile, and it's a
I love the name of it. Might not.
Might not, yeah. Might work, might not. Anyway, they what it does is it's kind of like a piece of foundation, and it actually heats up to a certain temperature when the mites are breeding, and apparently that heat kills kill the mites. It actually stops them becoming productive or reproductive.
Reproducing? Yeah, so that sounds like a good idea. And speaking of varroa mites, this time of the year I have noticed there is quite a build-up of them. So I really, think get onto your treatments, guys, and get them finished before March. The other thing to be aware of also is the wasps. I have noticed a lot more wasp presence at the moment, so reduce your entrances and get your wasp guards on. And your robbing screens, because the bees are searching.
The wasp is searching? Absolutely, they are.
And the bees are searching for honey. Anything that's left lying around, they're going crazy, man. Crazy!
Remember the other day we accidentally left they left a box of honey in the shed?
Yeah,
and there was a slight little gap at the bottom where the core flute had warped.
You should have heard the workshop. It was just going crazy.
It was buzzing, and it wasn't my table saw.
No.
And then we had some customers come over, and there was bees flying around all over.
Everywhere.
And I said to them, this isn't normal. I don't think they believe me.
We're doing a lot of stuff that isn't normal at the moment. It must be the heat or something. Anyway, that might be it.
But let's get back to the story.
Okay. New technology that may remove varroa destructor mites.
This sounds like it's got some great promise. And even Marla Spivak, she's a distinguished professor of apiculture. And you might remember her video that we released a while back. And she says Might Not Project is the most innovative and holds the most promise to turn the bee crisis around more than any other idea that has come along in a long time, maybe ever. So that's high praise from Marla.
It absolutely is, and she works in the University of Minnesota. So if this happens for them and it works out well, then I tell you what, this will be fantastic. We might as well get it, might not.
We maybe do.
Might not we get it?
Well, that's sure the managing director of this company that she approached me to come and interview on the podcast. So
yeah, so we're happy to do a test day.
Yeah, well, I've been listening to talk to him. So if you've got any questions after reading the website, send me an email and I'll be sure to ask them of him.
He's pretty confident that they will bring it to market.
He is, yeah. I think it's going to be.
They might well and bring might not.
No, they will. They might will.
And we wish them all the best. And we, watch the space. And we may be talking to, what's the name of the gentleman?
Oh, I can't remember at this stage. Sorry.
Will McHugh.
It could be
CEO from Altopia.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the guy.
He's the one who says that he hopes to bring it to the market. So that'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so go and have a look at their website and it'd be interesting to see how this one goes along. And we would, can't wait to see it at work, basically. The sooner, the better.
Absolutely. And even next story, even more than honeybees, beekeepers are on the endangered species list.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about this before, that it's so true that a lot of the older beekeepers are, getting old, basically. And, today I went to the Auckland Council Town Hall.
Yeah. You didn't mention it in your
No, I didn't mention it. But I went to the Auckland Town Hall to make a presentation to the hearing panel who are dealing with the animal management bylaws for Auckland City in New Zealand. And it was I felt it was very informal, and I loved the way they did it. It had quite a few councillors there, which was great. So they were engaged, and some of them had been involved with us. We met them when we were doing our submission for the Auckland plan, which was about 2012, I think. And it seems to me on the face of it, I don't know, they had discussions afterwards, I don't know the outcome of all that, but I think on the face of it they do support the encouraging beekeepers. And there was another older beekeeper there, and he basically brought another side to the argument, and it was really awesome. So fingers crossed, guys, that we don't end up with any regulation that might stop or cause beekeepers to have more things to deal with. So fingers crossed.
Absolutely, and we're all looking forward to a blog post summary of that event.
Yeah, and I'll also attach a copy of my presentation to it. It's just the written word.
Okay,
and,
we'll include that in the show notes.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good to do it. And the next one that we need to go and speak to is the one in June, which is to do with the Auckland Unitary Plan. And that is also where they're trying to put some, restrictions on bees or whatever under the Resource Management Act, which is really, I think it's just going to lead down a road of over-regulation. I don't think they need it.
Absolutely. We need to encourage young beekeepers to stop these beekeepers becoming endangered.
Yeah. And that was part of the discussion, that we need to start getting the older beekeepers engaging with the younger beekeepers so that we can have that, those skills and everything passed down to the next generation.
Yes, that's why we need to start interviewing the older beekeepers, and we may even need to go around their house with microphones.
Absolutely, and there's a lot. This article was his name's Orrin Johnson, and he's a second-generation beekeeper in California. He's coming to a point where he finds it quite difficult, and just read the story. It's really a really eye-opener for what's happening over there. It must be real disheartening over in America for some of those beekeepers, because they're just constantly getting barraged with so much things they have to be aware of. So,
they're losing a lot of their hives, and it's becoming uneconomical, because we touched on this when we talked to Tom Farrell in our interview, and he said the problem is not the bees becoming extinct, it's the beekeepers all going.
So people will say, well, is there anything in this industry for us? And they may well come back with the answer saying, no, there's nothing in there. And we need bees. We need lots of bees. Because I think bees can be a window on what's happening in our natural world. And if they fail, then I think, it's a harsh reality. But, our whole food chain might fall.
Yep, absolutely.
But it might not with the might not.
Okay. This is now the end of the might not joke.
Okay. I might not remember that. Oh, sorry.
Learning how to spot fake honey. Now, this title was a bit misleading, I must say. It's saying that there's been 75% of the honey in the US has had its pollen removed, and this is removing most of the beneficial properties of the honey. And also, they reckon it's also a way to mask its point of origin.
This caused me to think about irradiation, because from what I understand, a lot of food, and honey included, is being irradiated when coming out of America and Australia. And I avoid food that's been irradiated now.
Don't eat sushi from Japan then.
I absolutely try and buy New Zealand food. But I think what I took out of this article is that they can't actually put a label on this, can they? They can't say there's no pollen in this honey to prove where it comes from, because the benefit to the people who are doing fake honey is if you can't establish where it comes from, then you can't establish whether it's true honey.
Well, this is it. It's a process they use in America called ultrafiltration. So,
what was the comment that they made about where it could come from?
Oh, they said you don't know if it came from a local source or from next to a coal mine in China.
Okay, so there are issues in this in itself that you can't find out where it originated from. So is it really what it says it is? And the article says how to spot fake honey. I'd think it would be, you wouldn't be able to.
I think that's the conclusion, and I've got a tip for you guys out there. If you want non-fake honey, what's the best thing to do? Find your local beekeeper and support them.
Yep, go to your local beekeeper, buy locally sourced honey. You know, Google those people that are named on there, check their websites, phone them up, have a chat with them, find out what the cut of their jib is, and
Absolutely, and you know, go to farmers markets, things like that. Yeah,
local producers are where you find the best honey for you as well, because you're living in the same area, and that honey will be most beneficial to you because it's going to help you keep safe against the things in your area. Yeah, so.
And in Auckland, the Hobsonville Food Market every Saturday and Sunday has Earthbound honey. Go there every week, so.
Earthbound honey.
Check out their honey.
Yeah, certified organic honey producers, and we eat their honey, and it's just awesome. It's raw, so it comes straight off the comb, and it is just the most yummiest, richest, full-bodied honey you'll get. And
not as good as Kiwi Mana honey.
Oh, no.
Our Mana honey's so exclusive, it's never sold.
Yeah, exactly, but. Earthbound honey.
Check out Earthbound honey. They're a great bunch of guys.
Yeah, they're our neighbours, and
we're not biased at all.
Not at all.
Let's move on to questions from you.
Yeah.
Questions from you, the section where we answer questions from you. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got one about different treatments and what we use, and we use EP066 VAR, and that is a thyme-based concentrate of thyme, oil, eucalyptus and camphor, and we use that. It's used over in Europe, and we use it regularly and have been doing that for quite some years, and it's very efficient, and I love it, and I always use it before I winter down the hives. And those treatments, as I said before, we'll be finishing them before the end of March, so that's what we use. And the other treatment we use is the oxalic acid, and we use that with a vaporization machine, which we do sell, and that is great for during winter. So we treat 4 times a year, and we alternate between those two treatments. So, and they're both okay to use with honey. The EP066 VAR will flavour the honey a bit, but it won't make it poisonous or anything, and nor will the oxalic acid. So that's my answer.
Yeah, it just makes your honey taste like Listerine. So if you like Listerine, you'll love it. But I don't.
It'll be like you're taking a cold syrup, but it's. You can take your honey off if you want to, but it won't affect the bees at all.
No, true.
Next one.
Any other questions?
No, you had some questions, didn't you?
No.
Okay. We had some about queens failing at this time of the year, or we had the incident where the splits that we did, the queens were very slow. They're just coming into laying, and so I'll be checking. They were just done just before Christmas, so yeah, it's taken a long time, but that was a question, and everyone has a different approach. Some people just knock them on the head and then just get in a new queen. Some people take the weak hive, kill the queen, and add it to a stronger hive so that those bees will survive through winter. Some people put them into nuke boxes and let them build up.
Yeah, we talked about that at lunch today, didn't we? So I think it's better to have go into winter with a strong hive, with low mites and a great queen. So that's if you can merge your weak ones together. Yes, that is the best way to go.
Some people try and feed them up, but I think it's risky. Well, and do you want to wait till all the bees are really gone? I don't know.
Well, you really want to treat your bees before the queen starts laying her winter bees, because they're the tough little girls that they're gonna survive.
Yeah,
and a few months for winter.
Yeah, I guess the reality is if she's not strong enough now, when it's the peak of the bee thing, then will she survive through winter? That's the big question. Probably
not. Yep, absolutely. Let's move on to blog post coming soon. Blog post coming soon. We have a new blog post coming out soon about how to extract honey with 2 buckets.
Yeah, Gary will be working on that one for you, and I'll be working on the Auckland Council presentation. That will come through, and yeah, it's that should be awesome. And I really want to put out some blogs about some of the beginner beekeepers, and that will have some photos of what they're up to.
So we look forward to your blog post, Margaret.
That'll be awesome. And
when they come out, they're all masterpieces.
Oh yeah, I do work very hard on them when they do come out.
They do. And we've got a video of Cliff Van Eaton and Peter Moreland. He's the guy that discovered Manuka honey in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Or discovered its medicinal purposes. And we got a video that we did in Hamilton a while back, and we're getting the hang of video editing. So I've been editing that. And it's a struggle, guys, I must admit.
He's done very well, and it looks good, and we hope you enjoy it. And, we might be trying to work on that over winter so we can give you some more, visual videos that you can have a look at. And, we're going to have a lot of fun with that, won't we?
We do. We want to do some little videos to show you guys little simple, 5-minute videos.
Yeah, some how-tos, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We've just got to try and work out how to do it. Well, we've got some ideas and we've got some subjects, but if you want to see how we do something specifically in the Pacific, drop us a line. We've got some good ideas so far.
Down under.
Lighting a smoker, doing a sugar shake.
Yeah, things like that.
Eating chocolate biscuits. It's another video I'm doing.
I don't think I'll be putting that out there. Mind you, it is a pastime I enjoy.
Yeah.
That's after I've done all my apiary work, of course.
I think people know. Exactly. So if you've got any ideas, drop us a line. It's info@kiwimana.co.nz. Now, this is the most interesting part of the show for me.
I'm not sure about that, but there you go.
Well, it's the part I enjoy the most because it's feedback from you guys.
Oh, yeah, that is actually cool.
Here it comes. Feedback from you guys.
Can I do one?
Yep.
Okay, this is from Wendy, and she said, "Thanks so much for your newsletters and such valuable information. We love your beekeeping methods." So thanks, Wendy, for that comment. We really appreciate it, and keep going with those bees.
Absolutely, Wendy. Thanks for that feedback. And this one, we've got another feedback here from Steve Bugnack. Steve Bugnack. He's even told us how to say
Bugnack. Bug. Insect. Knack. Knickknacks. Okay. All right. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Steve. And he said, love your podcasts as they are down to earth and not we know everything trying to teach you dum-dums out there. That's so true. We don't know anything.
We don't know. We have lots more to learn, that's for sure.
We do. And
thanks for that.
Let's hope we learn together. And love that you two compliment each other. You say weird things and Margaret corrects you. That's not right, Steve. Margaret says the weird things. They say to every yin there is a yang. If you aren't married, you ought to be. God bless you.
Oh, that's great, Steve. I love the bit about that it's down to earth, and I think, we value that comment because that is what we are trying to do. We're trying to, promote that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for that.
And we're just who we are. So it's good that we're down to earth. I think it's awesome. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your feedback.
Cool.
The next one is it's an iTunes review. Really great. And this is 5 stars.
From Regular Guy.
Regular Guy, 2014. And he's from the United States of America. Where's that? Is that somewhere near... Is it near Canada?
I don't know.
I think it might be. I think it might be. Is it near Canada? 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 Is it
Hey.
So I'm just joking. Anyway, enjoy the content.
He doesn't mean it, guys. He knows that you guys are, you know.
Enjoy the content and the interviews. New keeper here. Hello, welcome, regular guy. In the US, but information you provide has no real geographical borders. Really appreciate your experience and insights. Keep up the excellent work. Look forward to every podcast. Oh, that's great.
I think that's awesome. And thanks, Regular Guy 2014. And we really appreciate comments from United States, and we get them from UK, Denmark, all over the world. And thank you for that. And I think you absolutely are right that, we are all learning from each other, and to know that there are some things that we can share that are helpful is always good to hear. So thanks very much.
Absolutely. Probably a lot of the things we do apply to other countries, but they're probably just the dates are, the seasons are slightly different.
Yeah, and I guess it's, a lot of the beekeeping methods in terms of hobbyist types and organic is, where our aims are. And, and then there's other views on commercial behaviours. So, it's good to get this feedback. So thanks again.
Absolutely. And speaking of feedback, we've got some feedback here from Jennings Apiaries in Louisiana, in Ruston, Louisiana. And I've got the link there. So if you want some raw honey, if you're in Louisiana.
Yeah, get it there.
Go and see these guys. Great raw honey.
They'll look after you.
Absolutely. And they say, great episode. Always look forward to the podcast. My girlfriend went red stag hunting on the South Island of New Zealand last year.
Awesome.
Cool. And I can't wait to get over there and check out New Zealand.
Yeah, well, when you do, you know where we are.
Give us a ring.
Drop us a line or, email us, call us. Everything's on our website, so you can get in touch. And
we'll have the kettle on.
That's
Just bring the biscuits.
That's it. Chocolate biscuits.
No, healthy ones.
Oh, healthy.
Non-chocolate.
Okay. Oat ones or something. I don't know.
No, just come over. It's fine.
Yeah.
So if you can, guys, if you can leave a review on iTunes, that would be fantastic, because that helps us get new listeners. And if you like our show, please subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Just
want to say thank yous to the Jennings Apiaries for getting in touch with us and putting their feedback on there, and we appreciate it. Cheers.
Yep, absolutely. And if you want to get our newsletter and become one of the 1,000 people, because you get...
Woohoo! Yay!
Okay. Calm down.
No.
Okay, and so you can do that. It's kiwimana.co.nz/sign up, and you get the weekly news of what we're up to.
Yep.
And this brings the end of the show. So thanks everyone for coming along. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, and we're going to go and have a cup of tea and enjoy the rest of a balmy evening, and see ya.
God, it's so hot, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, see you guys, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks, probably with an interview with Solomon Park from Treatment Free Beekeeping. So look out for that interview.
Okay. See ya.